I am bringing out my inner dollar store diva today in the sartorial kitchen. My work bestie has challenged me to make a 5-star meal out of Dollar Tree ingredients, and I have met the challenge with my fried bean cakes, homemade queso blanco cheese, grilled marinated steaks, and last but not least for dessert, tropical fruit sherbet. So why don't you pull up a chair and dine with me?
Back, everybody. We are outside the Dollar Tree, and I have a special treat for you today. I've got my work bestie with me, and she has challenged me to see if I can make a sartorial chef quality meal shopping with nothing but Dollar Tree ingredients. And now I didn't realize how big of a grocery section they had. I know they had like junk food, candy. I mostly go there for like cards and balloons, last minute items. So I'm curious myself to kind of take a look around and see what they have and see if I can meet the challenge. I will meet you guys inside. Alright guys, look at everything here. I found so many goodies. I'm super excited. We're going to do a dessert, and then we're going to do like a steak dish, and I got some other little things to dress up the plate. But I think it's going to be a really luxe meal for not a whole lot of money. So let's go check out. I'll see you at the register. Alright guys, welcome back. As you saw, I had a really successful trip at the Dollar Tree. Here is my receipts. So we are doing a Mexican menu. I love Mexican, and I was actually surprised by how many Mexican options they have. So I've already got some milk going, whole milk. We're going to be making our own cheese. Can you believe that? Making our own cheese from Dollar Tree. And I'm making a dessert too. I want to start with that first. It's going to need time to set up. So I found this frozen fruit. It's papaya, pineapple, and mango. We're going to be making a tropical sherbet. So for that, we just need frozen fruit. And then we need 2 kinds of milk, evaporated milk and sweetened condensed milk. So the evaporated milk, that's going to get us to the consistency that we're looking for. The sweetened condensed milk is going to be our sweetness. And then you want the fruit to be frozen because that's going to give you that kind of ice cream consistency. And I'm just going to go ahead and pulse this a little bit just to break it down and make some room in my food processor. Beautiful. And then I'm going to go ahead and start pouring in our liquid here. I'm pouring about half of this. I got 2 bags, so we'll have 2 batches out of this. I'm going to crank this baby back on and just let it go until everything is smooth and creamy. I'm going to make sure those frozen chunks break down all the way so it's a nice smooth ice cream. Alright, here is the last of our mixture. Again, I'm just going to pour this right in. Now, if you like soft serve, you could have it right now as is. But I'm going to wrap this and stick it in the freezer so it sets up. This would also make a good mix-in for like some tequila or some rum. And we'll just set this in the deep freeze for a couple hours. I'm going to leave it go until we finish our meal. And then we can move on to making our cheese. Alright, our milk is steaming away. You want it to scald but not boil. I'm going to check this really quick. We want it to be around 190 to 200. Anything over that's too hot, so you'll have to let it come back down. And I think we're there. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. Now we're going to add our acid. You can use any acid you like. I'm using distilled white vinegar because that's what Dollar Tree has available. And this is a half gallon of milk. To that I'm adding 4 tablespoons of vinegar. What the vinegar does is it curdles the milk and causes it to separate. So then the fat turns into the cheese, and then the liquid separates from it. And we're just going to let this go. Stir that in, and we'll turn it back on real low. And then you just let it go, and then you'll see it starts to separate from itself. So you can already see this is starting to separate. It's almost like instantaneous. This is also how you make like ricotta or farmer's cheese. It's the amount of acid you add that controls kind of the texture and the flavor that you're going to get. You could use lime, you could use lemon. You're going to get a different flavor. Okay, we can turn that off. Here we've got our lovely little curds of cheese. Now we're going to move this off the heat. I have a strainer here, and I've got a little handkerchief. If you can't find cheesecloth, or if you have cheesecloth, even better. And I'm going to pour this right over top, just nice and slow. So I'm going to make a mess. So the strainer and the cheesecloth is going to catch all of our curds. And then it's going to allow that liquid to separate. So you can see we've got all that liquid down in here that used to be milk, and that'll separate it from our cheese. That cheese looks great, but I kind of want to let it come together. So we're going to set this aside. I'm going to pour out some of our liquid here so this can drain properly. And I'll set this aside. We'll wring it out later. We're going to be using it as a topping for our steak. Okay, so I've got the ice cream chilling, and I've got the cheese doing its thing, and we're going to start marinating our steaks. Now, I know some of you are probably cringing at these Dollar Tree steaks, but what I like about this, they're frozen, and what's great about frozen steak, especially when they're thin like this, you can get a good sear on them without them overcooking. They take longer to get well done. So you can get a good crust on both sides and still have a medium rare steak. So these are actually perfect for that. And I've got a little bag here, so I'm going to do a marinade. So I'm going to start with just a little olive oil, just enough to coat the steaks. That's going to help our seasoning coat to the steaks, and then that's also going to help it get a nice color on it when we sear it up. So I've got some taco seasoning here. Probably going to be doing about a tablespoon and a half of that. Got some cumin here. Put the same on the cumin. I want this to have lots of flavor because these steaks, like these frozen steaks, are kind of bland. So we need to give it a lot of love here. And then I've got some garlic and onion. We're just doing about a tablespoon of each. And then some salt and pepper. And that's it. And I'm using the Ziploc bag. It's going to be easy work here. And then just kind of shake it up. And then I'm just going to like massage these together. This way our hands stay clean. And just turn it over on itself. Everything gets nice and coated in that seasoning. And then I'm going to pop these back in the freezer. I want them actually to stay froze so they cook up nicely for us. And then we'll work on our bean cake. So I thought it would be fun to do something different instead of just like tortillas and make a taco. I thought, what if we made bean cakes and that was the base for our steak? So I've got a can of refried beans here. Just one can. If you wanted to use like black beans or something like that, you could. You'll just have to like blend them up to be able to do that. And I've got 2 eggs here. Crack these easily so I can watch for eggshells. We don't want eggshells in our bean cake. And I'm going to get a whisk. I'm going to kind of break those yolks up a little bit before I mix everything together. The egg's going to be a little bit of a binder. It's going to give us some body and kind of stretch things out. And then I also need a little flour so we get the consistency we're looking for. Just a half cup of this. I always like to add that last once things are kind of generally mixed in. Otherwise, you end up with flour everywhere, which is just not a good time. Oh, yeah. So, checking on our cheese real quick. This is why we leave it sit for a while. See, we got more liquid. And then you can just kind of come in here. This is why you use the cloth, because then you can kind of squeeze this to get more moisture out. And it's good to let it cool some too, so you're not like scalding your fingers when you do this. And there we have our queso. Okay, I think we're ready to fry our cakes. If you're ever not sure if the oil's hot enough, just flick a little water in there. You can hear that sizzle. It means they're good to go. So I've got my mixture here. I'm going to take an ice cream scoop, or you could do like a spoon. And I'm just going to do like 4 at a time. I don't want to overcrowd the skillet, otherwise these are going to steam and not fry. Listen to that sizzle. That's one of my favorite sounds in the kitchen. I'm only doing 4 at a time. I want to make sure these actually fry and not steam. And then I'm just taking the back of my scoop here to kind of flatten these out. I want them to be about an even length so they cook the same. So we're going to fry about 3 to 4 minutes on each side just so they're nice and crispy, and then we'll flip them over. And while those go, I think I'm going to go ahead and get the pan going for our steaks. I want that on a low to medium heat. Now we coated our steaks in the oil, but I'm going to throw a little oil on this skillet too to make sure they don't stick. And I think our cheese is ready to go. I'm going to dump that into this little bowl here. Doesn't that look great? And you can use this as a topping. You can use it to make queso blanco dip. Very versatile. All right, let's check these babies out. Oh yeah. Ooh, look at that. Nice crust. And then they're going to cook for another 3 to 4 minutes on this side. We'll take them out. I think I've got enough to do another batch or two. And let's check our grill pan. Ooh, feels good and warm. I'm going to take these steaks out. And even in the freezer, that marinade, you can see our steaks have some gorgeous color from that marinade. I'm just going to throw them right on. At a little bit of an angle, I think. I want to get some gorgeous grill marks on here. And if you don't have a grill pan, you can use a saute skillet. No big whoop. Let those go. The trick to steak is to not constantly flip them because that causes the meat to get tough. So just let them go. They'll start to get a little quiet on the sizzle. That's when I'm going to check them and flip them over. We're looking for medium rare, so that's about right here between the thumb and the finger. All right, I think these babies are ready to come out. Yes, golden brown on both sides. So I got a little paper towel here so we can drain the grease. Grease is great for frying them, but it's not really a great flavor when it lingers. So I just like to let them chill out. And anytime I fry anything, I always hit it with a little salt. And then we'll come in here for round 2. Again, just 4. Once the oil's good and ready, they won't take quite as long as those did. And we're going to flip our steaks over. Look at those beautiful grill marks. And you can see where that marinade has like really kind of kissed the steak beautifully. I am going to, however, hit it with just a little more salt and a little more pepper. You can never be too safe with your seasoning. Those are going to take about another minute and a half, 2 minutes, and then we'll slice them up. And we will be ready to plate. I'm going to go ahead and start getting our plates set up. Plus, I need to make room for these to come out. I think 2 each is a good portion, or if you're watching your figure, 1. Although these are beans, so they are protein. And I think I'm going to sprinkle on a little of our cheese here. I want cheese on the base that kind of gets to melt a little bit. Just a nice, generous handful on each piece. And we'll lay the steak on top. You see, we still have all this cheese left, so it's great. You can do so many things with it. And I'm going to pull up our steaks. I like my medium rare to medium. I'll just turn this side over too. You can see all those beautiful grill marks. Gorgeous. Okay, slide that off the heat. And I've got a little cutting board out here. I'm going to slice these up. It's just easier to eat. Okay, so I'm just gonna come in here and use my tongs to kind of hold this in place. And then you just want to make sure you have a really sharp knife. And I don't really like go down on the steak. I'm kind of just sliding the knife back and forth so it slides through like butter. You don't want to like hack at it. And I got us 2 steaks each, but really this is a pretty large steak. So if you're feeding a family, I mean, you could divide these steaks in half if you've got kids, and probably just give them one of the bean cakes, and you're probably good to go. And we'll bring this guy over here. I'm going to take that steak, and I'm just going to nestle it right on top of our bean cake. And then again with this guy here. And because I like a little color and some extra flavor here, I got a little jar of a little salsa. It's a hot salsa. And I'm just going to spoon some of that right on top. So you get that kind of restaurant finish to your dish. And we spent, what, like $16, $17 on this whole meal?
Mm-hmm.
So you can get fancy without spending a whole lot of money. And then we'll finish with a little more cheese here. Just for some extra color and extra flavor. But I would say that is a nice little Mexican meal for not a lot of money. Alright guys, I'm ready to dig in. I want to try a little bit of this cake myself first. A bit of an experiment. Oh yeah. Right amount of salt, I added a little pepper. Press. And the inside's like soft and tender. Now let's get some of this cake. Okay. And the steak, lots of flavor. I taste bucket seasoning, any salt. Then let's get everything. Awesome. Yeah, everything works great. The cheese is nice and soft. Firm, but it kind of melts a little. Also gives it just a nice little bit of heat. If you wanted to, you could throw some herbs, little citrus, and salsa. We're working with what we have. I got hot salsa. I know I'm a bit of a spicy. I think the heat. We're going to finish up here. And then we're going to grab our sherbet. Alright guys, dessert time. I did not know that my neighbor's dog was going to be out, or was going to be so loud. So we're going to have our ice cream in here. But it has been chilling nicely, and I just want to show it to you guys. Look, it is set up nice and firm and frosty. This is going to be just the perfect little treat for a nice warm August day like today. And I've got 2 bowls out and 2 spoons for me and my camera woman. I'm just going to come in here and get 2 nice scoops. And it helps having this nice ice cream scoop here. Oh, this looks so good, guys. Alright, perfect.
and we'll just give it a little taste. Guys, looks so good. I'm so excited. Oh wow. Ooh. It's so nice and creamy. It just melts in your mouth. I love the sweetened condensed milk. Gives it just the right amount of sweetness without being too sweet. Sometimes when you use like the granulated sugar, you just get that like cloyingly sweet flavor, but this is amazing. Nice and fruity too. I wasn't sure about the tropical fruits. I've never really had papaya before. I love pineapple, I love mango. This is a nice little unexpected flavor. So you think you're gonna get like an orange or something traditional, and then you bite into it and it's just like, it's kind of exotic. So good. Well, we're gonna finish up our ice cream. But I thank you guys for joining me in the kitchen once again. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit me up in the comment section. And until next time.